If your webinar show operate is low, stop blaming your reminders. Here's what I mean. You see, the real reason is your leads don't trust it enough to show up. So just imagine you asking people to sit for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or even 1 hour for something they don't even know if it will actually help them. But you haven't also convinced them that it is worth that time. And we all know business people or entrepreneurs who want to make money always save that time, always value that time. By the way, my name is Habeeb. I work with emails to boost webinars show operate. And also, if you want me to fix it, you can click the link in the description and then we'll fix that. Enough with the sales pitch, let's get into it. So now let's head to my computer. So your webinar doesn't have a show up problem, it has a trust problem. And let's fix the mindset first. You most likely be blaming reminders, and you also might be thinking maybe it's a show operate problem. But the truth is, show up problem is equals to trust problem. The truth is, showing up problem is equals to trust problems. And I will show you why exactly 99% of your leads never show up. And by the way, this is just a few research that I made. The first one is the problem you most likely be thinking of, which is I just need more reminders. Maybe it's wrong time or day, or maybe sometimes it may actually has to do with the time, because you cannot be running webinar on Mondays or any working days. Or you might be saying people are busy, but the truth is people are not busy to something that will actually bring value to them. They'll most likely make time to what they will benefit. So, but the reality is leads don't attend things they don't value, and that's 100%. You most likely might know that you might notice is when you actually put in much effort and much value, and that's when your show operates or your webinars might increase. And then also your webinar is not seen as important. This is one of the major problems I have seen. They might think that I've seen this before, I've seen this before, maybe it's just another webinar, it's just like a random webinar. So you need to use your emails to maybe use your emails to shift the belief while using the belief shift method in your emails. And then the third one is they sign up but they aren't convinced it's worth that time. And this is one of the most important thing when it comes to emails. I know I have been hyping emails for long, but I can tell you that one of the 70% of what actually brings your leads are through emails. If you don't actually do emails and you might find out is very, very drastic improvement in your show operates. That's if your emails are good. So why is it happening? The first one is no belief sheet. As I said, no belief sheet. Leads do not believe your method works. So what I mean is they actually might have been seeing it, and maybe because it's free, they'll think that it's not going to bring them results. And secondly, no anticipation. Webinar feels like just another free seasons. So it's just like you giving something free without maybe actually feeling them that they actually get something valuable for free, which is so important. You need to create scarcity. Maybe in your emails you might put a limited spot or so. And the last one and the third one is no stake. They don't lose anything by missing it. And that's where one of the things that I saw from one of the popular webinar is you're not actually telling them what they'll miss yet. You might actually put it this way in your emails. You might say a step-by-step guide or a copy and paste method. Those things are already being used, so you come up with something totally different. And the fourth one here is no authority built. they don't trust you yet. And I've seen it enough. People most likely go to webinars straight direct, put the link into their webinar, but before the webinar you might most likely need a VSL and a opt-in where you can be able to give them a free value, maybe a small PDF or an ebook that you wrote that does contain about 4 to 5 pages. By doing so, they'll feel like they're getting something valuable for free and they don't want to miss that. So here's how to fix it. I think I've already said the fix it, but let's go again. The first one is pre-sell the webinar. Make it feel like an event, not content. So you want it to look like an event, and we humans mostly love something that is scarce. We don't want to miss something that you can be able to regain it back. Let's say you might be able to create scarcity in your webinar by saying maybe the replay will not be there or so. And then the second one is build belief. That is when emails come in. You use email or content that prove the problem is urgent and your solution works. And in your emails, there are actually 4 or 3 different type of emails that you can be able to use. It depends on people who are trying to attract. So if there are about 100 or so, I think 7 email sequences will be better. But if they are few, about 100 or so, you need about 3 emails, whereby the first one you give free value and you build authority. The second one you are going to give testimonial, social proof, and then the last one you are going to create scarcity of your webinar and also a belief sheet also. And then the third one is create anticipation. Tease what they will learn, make them curious. So you might be able to show them that this is what you will learn, but you will not actually give the full tutorial or the full what you're actually going to teach them. You are only going to tell them few of what they will want to know, whereby you use words. I think that those are words of copywriters, which I'm the one. Those are work of people who can be able to create curiosity in their emails. And then the last one is add stakes, what they will lose if they miss it. Something give free. Sometimes you can be able to give free value, and that is so important. I think I've already talked this. So let me give an example that I just bring the 3 emails that will actually boost your webinar show operate. The first one is break a false belief. Most webinars fail because the host didn't build trust first. So when you build trust, so when you build trust first, there are going to be drastical changes or drastical show up in your emails. The second one is email 2, which is show result, proof, and then transformation. By doing this, they will be able to keep the objection that why maybe this didn't work, that didn't work. Maybe you might give one of your biggest social proof of someone who started from zero or who has no experience. And then the third email is tease content and stakes. Miss this and you will keep struggling with low show ups. This word is very, very powerful. I think I have used it in about my last 2 or 3 emails, and it sounds a little bit more authorized than the rest. So I think I've covered up a most part about emails. So one of the biggest problem of people who are selling into product is they don't have time, and that is where I come in. I help sales coach run their webinars and also improve their show up rate, because sales coaches don't have time to write emails because it takes about an hour to write a single email at some point. Sales coach or coaches don't have time to write emails. They don't have time to write VSL scripts and all these things and do the email marketing because it's a bit complex. So your webinar and show up rate is low. It's not your reminder, it's your funnel. And by the way, I've covered a lot of this, and if you are a sales coach and you want this to be done completely hands off for you, I've linked my Instagram link in the description. You can DM me. My calendar is actually empty for now. You can click the link in the description and then we will work. So as always, start now and join me.